Welcome back to another episode of Melanin Mysteries. So, when you're dealing with a case full of criminals, chaos is practically guaranteed. Welcome to the story of Yenesis Alfonso and Ammar Harris, where everyone involved has a past they'd rather keep hidden. It's a hot mess from start to finish. Think drama, deceit, and one twisted web of bad decisions. From the moment these two crossed paths, it was clear this wasn't your average love story. No, this was a collision of greed, lust, and danger, all wrapped up in the glitz of Las Vegas. Ammar had a reputation for running with the wrong crowd, and Yenesis was looking for a way out of her own messy life. Now, let's throw in a few more criminals, a violent act, and the kind of reckless decisions only made in the heat of the moment. Yeah, it's a disaster waiting to happen. So, buckle up because this case is pure chaos. It is only getting wilder from here. I'm your host, Tiffany.
And I'm your co-host, Willie. It's early morning hours of February 2nd, 2013 on the Strip in Las Vegas, Nevada. Kenneth Cherry, a.k.a. Kenny Clutch, and his friend Freddie Waters pulled up to the Aria Resort on Las Vegas Boulevard with French Montana. I guess he was performing at the location. They let back out soon after getting into a Maserati, only to loop around to valet and park again. Around the same time, Ammar Harris, a self-proclaimed pimp, and a few of his women, or as they call them, Lady of the Nights, left the club and went to his Range Rover from valet. But Ammar realized that he left his jacket in the club. Probably was a mink one. That's just what I think, and he went back to grab that bad boy. So while he was gone, the argument broke out. One of his girls, Yenis Alfonso, saw a man walking around waving a gun. So Yenis goes inside and she ends up telling Ammar what was going on. Ammar goes to his car and grabs the gun and passes it to one of his hoes. I'm sorry, one of his girls, Yenny, and tells her that if she feels like she needs to use it, do it. So Ammar then goes to walk over to the Maserati where Kenny Clutch was, but Kenny ends up pulling off.
So now it said that Ammar and Kenny knew each other prior to this whole incident taking place, and there was an actual argument between the two, but it's not specified if the argument took place inside or outside the club. But there are like a few conflicting stories. Now, nobody actually knows what this argument was about, but what I personally think happened, and again, this is just me thinking, I think they got into it over the women. So it's alleged that both men were pimps, and maybe Kenny Clutch said something to one of Amar's women. The conversation got heated. I'm not sure.
He's
It'll
like,
all
look,
come
you know
together.
the rules of the game. Yo, bitch chose me. So we got, oh, I'm sorry. You ain't never seen
You
that
making it
movie?
sound like a 70s, a badass
But
to be
anytime
70s
I think of
movie.
pimps, I think of the 70s. I always picture, anytime somebody said pimp, somebody that be like, the gold is for the honey and the green is for the money. Like, that's what I think of. So, my bad.
So, but it's all gonna come together. Why I believe my theory is correct. So just work with me. So
Okay.
Amar and his women, he had three of them. There was Genesis, Yenny, and there was no name for the third one, but we're going to call her Yasmin since they all got
Oh,
Y names.
wow. Yeah, they some exotic hoes. Yenny, and Yasmin.
Genesis. Like
Yenesis.
Genesis, but Genesis. You can't never get nobody that correct.
All right.
So anyway, Amar and his women, they hop back into Amar's black on black Range Rover with blacked out windows and custom rims, and they pull out from the Aria and they're cruising down Las Vegas Boulevard. So Yenny, she's in the front seat, and Yenesis and Yasmin are in the back seat. So it said that Amar pulls up on Kenny and his friend Freddie, and he tells Yenny to roll down his window. So Amar yells to the two men, like, "What's up?" And allegedly, Kenny replied, it was, quote, either "Do I know you?" or "I don't know you." And then from there, Amar just starts letting off gunshots into the Maserati, and then he pulls off.
Damn. So from what I can see, Yenis is his bottom hoe, or as they say in the
Yenesis.
pimp world, bottom bitch.
Yenesis. I don't know which one is his bottom hoe for real. I
It
don't
got to
know.
be Yenny because she riding in the front seat. That's a privilege. Like you riding in the front seat. Yeah. So yeah, she got to be the bottom bitch. That just, I mean, I don't know. What I think. All right. So back to the story. So let's talk about Kenny Clutch. So Kenny Clutch is shot in his chest, and his friend Freddie is shot in the arm. So they were the ones in the Maserati. And from here, it goes to hell. So when Kenny is shot, his foot slams on the gas. Now remember, he's in a Maserati, and if you don't know anything about vehicles, Maseratis are very fast vehicles. Steps on the gas, the Maserati takes off and crosses over to the intersection at Flamingo Boulevard and hits a taxi cab going 88 mile per hour. And the crazy part is that's like only like a block away from where Tupac got shot. Rest in peace, Tupac. So the taxi bursts into flames at the scene. The driver in the car was Michael Bolden, and his passenger was Sandra Sutton. Now they were the ones that were in the taxi, and they both died at the scene. So Kenny and Freddie were both rushed to the hospital. Freddie was able to be patched up with non-life-threatening injuries, but unfortunately, the boy Kenny, passed away later at University Medical Center Hospital. There were also 5 other people that were injured in that crash. Y'all gotta definitely check out the crash scene. It's crazy. So rest in heaven, Kenny, Sandra, and Michael. All right, those are the 3 individuals that lost their life. So Michael Bolden was born March 14th, 1950 in Detroit, Michigan. Remember, he was the taxi driver. He was one of 5 children. He raised his son as a single father and took care of his father who fought cancer before he ended up moving to Vegas to care for his 93-year-old mother. He was a cab driver at the Desert Cab Company and had been there for less than 2 years before his death. He had a grandchild who he spoiled to no end. Like he loved that little boy, and he loved high end cars. It was said that he was super friendly and would talk to anybody. He would frequently buy coffee for the other drivers. He just paid off his house in Detroit, and his birthday was coming up. That's a lot, man. Damn. His sister Carolyn said about him, the irony that a man with a taste of beautiful car would end up losing his life to one. That is kind of crazy, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they say the shit that you love will kill you. You know that, right?
Oh shit. Well, I hope I don't get murdered.
Food.
Oh, I'm over here like I love true crime. I hope I don't get
Hey,
murdered.
food and tequila gonna take you out, so be careful. So anyway, several club owners set up donation funds in his name to help the family with expenses. He had just picked up his first passenger, which was Sandra, for the day at the Rio and was taking her to the airport. A friend at the cab company said he was giving a great ride, a fair ride to a person. He was doing his job as an ambassador to the city, and they both exited out to heaven.
Okay,
Okay.
before we continue, I just need to back up for just 1 second.
What's up?
I don't even drink tequila like that. Like you
Uh,
putting it out there like I'm an alcoholic, like yeah,
no,
food
I just
tequila gonna
look. I
kill you.
know
Like I
who.
don't even drink tequila like that. My drink of choice is Ciroc.
Yes, it's
So
the right. Yes, you like to. You like to know Diddy. Yes. No, I would. I'll talk about the cruise. The cruise is tequila. When you're on a
yes,
cruise,
cruise tequila.
it's tequila the whole time. Yes, that's it.
So anyways, now I got that off my chest. Let's keep going. So Sandra Sutton Wiseman, she was a 48-year-old mother of 3 who at the time her children were 17, 12, and 11. She was a 3-time breast cancer survivor. She co-owned a dress boutique in Maple Valley, Washington called the Dazzling Danes, and she was also a manager at a plumbing company that she and her husband, James Wiseman, owned. She was in Vegas attending a trade show with her business partner before she lost her life.
That's horrible. So let's talk about Kenny Wayne Cherry Jr. He was born on July 25th, 1985, in Oakland, California, to Heidi and Kenneth Cherry Sr. Kenny had at least one sister that we know about, Becky. He grew up attending Catholic schools. He left behind 3 small children, a 2-year old son, a 1.5-year old daughter, and a 2-month old son. His nickname, Kenny Clutch, came from his Maserati. So Kenny moved to Vegas 8 years prior to his murder. As we said before, he was an aspiring rapper. So he was known in Oakland and was known in the hypey circle. Remember hypey music? Hypey.
Vaguely. I don't know. I just remember Too Short always talking about it. Like that's really all I know about it.
Yeah, I think E40 was part of that.
I
Yeah.
could stand his voice. I can't stand his voice. He aggravates
Um,
my soul.
hey, that's my dude.
I can't
But
stand him.
not really much mainstream rap. So he was locally known. You know, his father said that he was such a respectful young man. It was always saying yes, ma'am, and no, sir. But he did play big into his rapper persona. He also left behind a girlfriend, Asthmatic Hagos. Now, this is where things get just a little bit messy, right? And it's a lot to keep up with. So now Kenny's father was quoted in a news article stating that he did not know how his son made his money or if he had any jobs. Nigga, you know what he was doing. I just want to make it clear that my son was no gangster or nothing like that. He moved to Vegas 8 years ago and was writing music and rapping. So maybe he got like a little, yeah, I don't know. Maybe he got a little, the rapper they be getting no little upfront money, advances.
He was a
Yeah.
local rapper. Anybody know who he was? And we're gonna talk about that Maserati later, because
All
I'm
right.
how he said he got his name from his Maserati. But we'll talk about that later. So now his current girlfriend at the time, Asmayet, she was also quoted in a news article stating that Kenny had never been a pimp. She said he had never harmed her. She said, quote, he put everyone before himself. He was not abusive, not once. She said they discussed marriage, but she claimed she knew nothing about his finances and had no idea how he was able to afford a Maserati. Because Kenny claimed that Maserati cost 120,000 dollars. And from what I could find back in 2013, the price range for Maseratis was anywhere between 66,000 and 142,000, and that's not including if you got anything custom made on it. So, a local rapper who's not known, but you supposedly driving around a $120,000 car.
Yeah, exactly, man. You see it. That's all. Look, Jeezy. They said before Jeezy was like big time. I mean, before he became a rapper, like he was a big time drug dealer. So he was already sitting on big money before he even like signed his deal. So maybe that's the case.
He was a pimp.
and,
That's what it was. We
and
gonna keep
look
going.
at and the fact that she emphasized on that, like he was not abusive. He never harmed me. He will beat
Exactly.
your
Like so,
ass.
what? But it gets worse. It gets worse. So, Asmaya, she had her own legal issues, and we're kind of getting off track for a moment, but it's all going to tie in to my earlier theory. So, in 2011, she pled guilty to grand larceny. But a few months before she entered this plea, she agreed to perform sexual acts on an undercover police officer before attempting to steal a bottle of liquor from his room. Sound like a prostitute to me? Yep. So she ended up receiving a suspended sentence, and part of her probation was that she could not obtain any employment as an escort or a call out girl. I didn't know what a call out girl was, so I had to go find out. And it's basically a private stripper. So starting to come together for you just a little bit. So as my ex, she lived in Oakland. She said she didn't live in Vegas with Kenny, but they had a long distance love affair. But she said that Kenny was a loving father who smoked weed but didn't do any other drugs. Why you wanted to throw that out there is beyond me. But she
Exactly.
denied Kenny ever encouraging her to prostitute herself.
Nah, bitch, I ain't telling you to do it, but if you gonna do it, do it.
Exactly. And even though they had a long distance relationship, she claims that he spoke with him every day. I mean, it just sounded like he had holes in different area codes, if you ask me.
Okay.
And she specifically said that he was not engaged in any criminal activities. But that's not all.
That's not
So,
it.
in 2011, I found a restraining order from a California woman. It took a little bit of digging, but I found out it was one of his baby mamas who filed this restraining order. I don't know which one of the three kids baby mama it was. I don't know if he had one baby mama, two, however many. I'm not sure. But anyway, in the report that she wrote, she said that she was severely beaten. She said she was his prostitute. Told you.
Damn, see, yeah, see, I'm a golden. No, he a gorilla pimp, man.
I told
Gee,
y'all. So I guess an argument started because she was tired of popping her pussy and she wasn't seeing no money because Kenny was taking it all. I feel her. I'm doing all the work. Why are you getting all the reward? I mean,
is this something that you're familiar with? Something you're not
not at
telling me?
all. No, we're not starting it today. I'm catching on to everything. I'm refreshed.
Because you
No.
kind of,
But
you're
I'm
feeling
just
kind of
saying, if I'm gonna
passionate.
be
You're
out
really
here
passionate.
tossing it around like candy, I want my money.
I
I'm
never
just
under, but look, I never understood pimping. Like, I don't look. This is my thing, right? And I know it's me and be talking about they got game and they got play, whatever you want to call it, right? My thing is you gotta be have the lowest self-esteem in the world. And I'm not talking about sex trafficking. Let's clarify. I'm talking about old school pimping, right? Where the woman knowingly
and
sells
willingly.
herself and give all the money to this other dude. Like, what the fuck did he say to you to make you even think that that was a good idea? I would love to be a fly on the prostitute alley wall to hear what it said to her to make her feel like that is a great idea to do.
Same here, cause why? Like it just logically makes no sense. Like I'm doing all the work, but I give you
Yeah,
all my
like
money.
what does this man say to you to make you be like, you know what? Hell yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I'm about to sell all my cooter, take a chance of getting beat and everything just to give him the money so he can walk around with a fur coat on in the Cadillac. All right, my bad. I mean,
I don't. I wonder the same thing. I really do.
I just had to get
So
that off my chest. My bad.
go ahead. So it says that an argument started and the beatings had just they were going on over time. They got worse, but it was she got a breaking point and she finally called 911 and she wrote an affidavit. In this affidavit, she wrote, I quote, he chased me down the hall. I tried to lock myself in the bathroom. He broke down the door and started hitting me over and over again. I tried to lock myself in the bathroom and he broke the bathroom door and started hitting me over and over. I tried to protect myself in the corner of the shower. He hit me so hard I was seeing stars. I finally managed to run into the hallway and he came after me, hitting me until I collapsed on the floor, where he proceeded to kick me twice, once in my head and once in my thigh. He then threw me out of the apartment in the main hallway and locked me out of the apartment until he left. You got me fucked up.
He beat the shit out of her, and then they go back to what I was saying earlier about how old girl kept emphasizing like he does not abuse me, he's never harmed me. He didn't beat your ass, man. Ah, jeez. Now that we got it all the history out the way, we can get back to the case. So after the shooting and subsequent explosion, Ammar and his harem, aka his group of hoes, went back to their place. Well, at least we know Yenis and Armor did. It isn't specific where the other two were, but basically the two we know for sure went to sleep like they didn't just cause an entire accident on the Vegas Strip. Like, how do you do that though? Like, how you sleep good? I wouldn't. Yes, how you just sleep good knowing that you did some bullshit like that? So when Yennis woke up later in the morning, of course, she checked on her phone to see if there's any news or information on what happened earlier that morning. When she saw the carnage, they pat their shit and they get the hell out of town because they knew they was in trouble, right? So they went out. They went on a run, and Yennis, the loyal chick she is, was gonna ride for her man. So let's talk about Ammar, right? So Ammar Asim Farouk Harris, aka Jaden, was born sometime in 1986 in Brooklyn, New York. He really didn't know much about it. We really don't know that much about his childhood. I apologize. He was partially raised by a single mother. His father passed when he was 2 years old. He had a younger sister, and from what we understand, he grew up in an environment of sexual and physical abuse. That would make sense. You know, they did like a study, and they say majority of, and I'm not making this up, like pimps or people like pimps or whatever you call them were all sexual abused when they were a kid, or they witnessed sexual abuse or some type of abuse when they was a kid. Did you ever hear about that?
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, I said that's crazy, man. So I told you he grew up in the environment of sexual and physical abuse. His mother failed to enroll him or his sister in school, and he was neglected and lived in poverty. His first arrest was at the age of 17 in 2004 in South Carolina when he was arrested for felony possession with intent to sell a stolen pistol. Okay, felony possession with intent to sell a stolen pistol. He was damn 17. That's crazy. And it just went downhill from there. Records show he lived in between Atlanta, Miami, and Vegas. He had a weed charge that he took a plea deal in his early 20s. Then in December 2012, he was arrested at Miami Beach for reckless driving after speeding, weaving in and out of traffic, endangering people on Collins Avenue. He was also cited for driving without a license. There was also another incident in March in 2012 where he was shot, but it was not life threatening. So that little nigga been through a lot.
Hell yeah, we the same age. He was wilding in these streets. I don't know nothing about
Yeah,
that life.
yeah, yeah. That nigga, damn. Mm.
So Yenesis Alfonso, she was actually born Tanisha LaShawn Howard around 1991 in Miami, Florida. She wasn't black though. That sounds like a black girl name. I don't know no non-black people named Tanisha. And you
Hell
know all
no.
Tanishas is crazy. You know that, right? All of them. I swear, all of them. Because
I'm gonna be
yours
quiet.
was my cousin.
Damn, what?
Yours was my cousin. His ex
Oh yeah,
fiance
you
or
right. I
whatever. Her
forgot.
name was Tanisha. That bitch was crazy. We was over there for Thanksgiving the other day. His so-called best friend, her name Tanisha. I told his mama, I was like, she probably crazy too. I was like, them Tanishas ain't all right in the
Yeah,
head.
man. If any Tanishas listen to this, if you agree with that or don't agree, let us know. But I think you're right.
Mhm. All the ones I met, they a little off. So anyway, she was Cuban. Her mother's name was Miladies Garcia, and Yenesis, she had a record of prostitution, possession of a stolen vehicle, and at the time of this case, she was 22. And according to her mother, she and Ammar had been quote dating for about a year. That's what you call it, dating. So it's really not clear how they met. I did see something where it said that Yenesis was a stripper and she met Ammar while she was working in the club, and I guess he promised her more money. I mean, he slick talked her like how pimps do, and the rest was history, allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah, I do want to hear how these pimps talk because how the hell? But now, so by now, police have pulled surveillance footage and they have all they need. All they gotta do is pull up driver's license because they got everything on there. They see the truck and everything, and it led them right to Ammar. Right, so Yenis was also identified as one of the women in the truck. And in the beginning, it was believed that Yenis was actually a hostage in the situation. Now, why they didn't have any concern about the other two hoes, we ain't sure, right? But I told you, Yenis, I told you she was his. She had to be the bottom
No,
bitch.
because Yenny was in the front seat when she was shot.
I thought
Yenis
it
was
was
in the
Yenis.
back.
I thought it wasn't Yenis's.
No, Yenesis was in the back seat. Yenny
Oh,
was in the
Jenny.
front seat.
Oh, okay,
So I don't
okay.
know what happened to Yenny and Yasmin, where them hoes went, but I don't know what happened to the other ones, but yeah.
This hoes is they all scattered everywhere. So now, by Saturday, sorry about that, February 23rd, the police located Ammar's black Range Rover. It was found in an apartment complex just 2 blocks from the strip and the crime scene, and it was subsequently impounded and taken into evidence. With no leads and nowhere to turn, the detectives start to show Ammar's face on the news. They even threw up billboards around the city and highways with reward, a wanted reward. The colleagues of Michael Bowden even offer a $35,000 reward for his capture. See, if they was smart, right, and if I knew I was on the run, I'll have somebody I know turn me in, and then they could try to use some of that money. Oh, you can't use it for the lawyer because they only give it to you if they get convicted. You know that, right?
You only get it if I'm convicted. No, y'all said if it leads to capture,
No,
run me
it
my
leads to the cap.
money.
No, no, that but it's small print. It leads to the capture and conviction of the convict.
So what if I done snitched on you and I don't even got enough money to get out of town?
Exactly. So
See, that's how
exactly. So,
they
you
get you.
snitched.
See, I done snitched on your ass and I ain't even gonna get paid because
Yeah. So you
your ass
snitched.
get off and you coming after me now. I'm broke and dead. See, mm-mm.
That's some bullshit. You snitched on the dude, and now he didn't get convicted, and now you got to move because they about to beat your ass. That's
No, they
horrible.
about to kill your ass. You are broke and dead. Broke
Oh,
and
damn.
dead.
Okay. That's
Trash, boy. I tell you. Mm, mm. Got to be more careful. So anyway, by now, Yenesis Ammar, they in the wind. They gone. They had made their way to LA because LA is only 4 hours from Vegas. It's only like a one. So why, from what I understand, it's like a one way, a one road on each side type deal when you drive from Vegas to LA.
it is.
Yeah, my aunt said she said that's why she won't drive. She said because I was like, why don't you just drive? And she was like, it's literally like a one way on each side. She's like, it's horrible, and if it's traffic, it's just a mess. I was like, oh, interesting. Never knew that.
No, no, yeah, I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
I flying. I don't ever drove. I did. I drove in Vegas one time when I rented a car, but nothing like far out like that.
You know me, I just like to hop in and out of Ubers. I don't want to be responsible while I'm in Vegas.
Gotcha.
Um, so they made their way to LA. They were staying at a friend of Amar's home. I bet she was another one of his hoes, but they didn't say. So originally, like we said, police they actually mistakenly put up the incorrect photo of Genesis. So that kind of like hindered their search just a little bit. Because okay, and I'm about to sound like you. But you
What
know how
then?
like all those Instagram models, they all look
They
alike.
all, yeah, they all
Yeah, like
light
they had
skinned.
the plumped up lips. They got like the same cut. Like they all look alike. But she happened to have green eyes. But aside from that, she looked like a regular Instagram model. So I guess they put up the wrong picture. So I was like, hey, that's not her.
No, you're right. They do. Yeah, they do look alike.
Yeah, like like all the models on Fashion Nova. I'm like, do y'all only have one model? Because all five of them look exactly the same. They look like
Hmm.
knockoff Kim Kardashians.
Yes, that's who said. Man, she the one started all that shit.
Yeah, they all look like knockoff Kim Kardashians. So anyway, but when they finally got the correct photo of Yenesis up, and I mean they had Yenesis and then they had Tanisha up there. They had both her names. Like if you seen her, we need to know where she is. So Ammar decided it would be best if they split up. So now he just like
He leaving this hoe. He said,
he said, "This every man for himself and this bitch, you got to go.
exactly.
I
Like,
gotta
yeah,
save
bitch.
myself."
I appreciate you risking your whole life and your livelihood for me, but it's time to skedaddle.
Basically. So Genesis, she was like, "No, baby, I'm here. I'm riding it out with you. You my man. I'ma stay here. I got you. I got your back, your front and your side to side." He was like, "Bitch, take your ass to Miami." So what she do? She took her ass back to Miami. So hopefully she wouldn't be caught. So now Genesis, she on her own, and Amar probably over there screwing the bitch that he's staying with.
You know it.
I do. But he still to lay low because by now his name and picture has been plastered all over the news in several states. So it's not just Nevada. They know he probably done left the state and they is looking for his ass. I mean, for real, he killed a white woman on camera.
Yeah,
Dude, they
that's
gonna burn your ass.
it's just
They ain't
certain
about to let
things
that
you
shit
just
fly.
don't do in life, and that's one of them.
Not
Never
in
kill a white
America
woman.
anyway.
Yeah, don't you do not kill a white woman on camera.
You
You
don't kill a white woman and let them find out about it. Not in America.
yes, but on camera, you bold with it. They about to get your ass.
They gonna fry
Don't do
your
it.
ass. That was the end of his life.
So look, they about to burn his ass. We know that already. So back in Vegas, while the police are focused on trying to hunt down Ammar and Yenesis, one Yenesis has been upgraded to a person of interest, and she is no longer considered a hostage. Remember, they thought she was a hostage, and they're like, "No, that's his bottom bitch." You know, people got to talking.
Somebody snitched. I'm trying to tell you. I
Somebody
know
talk.
somebody.
Yes,
Somebody was talking.
yes, and Kenny family held a vigil on the corner of Flamingo and Las Vegas Boulevard in honor of his life, and that was on February 23rd. Days go by, and just nothing is happening. No leads on Ammar Yenesis. In a press conference, the lieutenant of Las Vegas PD said the longer it goes, the higher the reward. So they try to get down. So the less people he's going to be able to trust, and the more paranoid he's going to become. The pressure is on. That is also true. You can imagine being on a run for murder and your face is getting plastered everywhere. So it ain't like you could just go out. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody in that area know who you are. That shit crazy, bro. So the pressure's on. So he's holed up like a rat, if you will. A couple days pass. And it's not noted how, when, or why, but both Yenis and Amar both were captured on the very same day in two different cities in the country. Somebody snitch.
Had to be.
Come on, the odds. The nigga somewhere was 6'9", and yes. So Yenesis was arrested in Miami, Florida, and Amar was arrested in Studio City, California. Damn, at least she tried to get as far away as possible. This dude was right in California. So and that was a little after 12 p.m. A woman answered the door. Task force has been watching the house. He surrendered to the police and FBI. Yenesis was extradited back to Las Vegas.
On March 4th, 2013, Ammar appeared in court for his extradition hearing in LA. While he was in jail waiting for his extradition hearing, this fool makes a jailhouse call on a recorded line and tells somebody that he's willing to pay $20,000 for an escape plan while he's being transported back to Vegas. And because his dumbass is on a recorded line, the feds are on high alert. However, no attempt was made and he was transported back to Vegas without interruption. Now, when he makes it back to Vegas, he's charged with 3 counts of first degree murder with use of a deadly weapon, 2 counts of discharging a firearm into a structure, vehicle, aircraft, or watercraft, and 1 count of attempted murder with use of a deadly weapon, and 5 counts of discharging a firearm out of a motor vehicle. So now, as for Genesis, she was interrogated for hours. So Genesis, She also had some other pending charges for prostitution, unauthorized use of a vehicle, and a few other charges. I guess she ain't learned her lesson yet. But let me back up for just a moment. So I always heard that prostitution was legal in Vegas, right? You heard
Is
that
it?
too?
Isn't it?
No. I mean, it is, but it's not. So prostitution is only legal if it's done at a licensed brothel. So I didn't even know brothels still existed, but apparently they do. But street walking, escort services, going to the VIP and the strip club and giving head $40, all that's illegal in Vegas. You can't do it. It's still illegal.
It's still illegal.
So like I remember the one time we were in Vegas, um, we had went to the place that got the oyster bar in it.
Yep,
It,
yep,
it
yep.
was it was late at night. Me and that other friend I used to have, we
Hmm.
went and we came out, and she was like, "Did you see all them prostitutes on the thing?" You know me, I don't be paying no attention sometimes. And I was like, "No." And she's like, "Girl, it's about 5 or 6 of them. They just walking around." And I was like, "Well, I mean, it is legal here, but apparently that's not legal."
Wow. Yeah, this whole time I always thought prostitution was legal.
I did too, but
But
I guess the government want they cut too. So when you do it, you gonna do it their way. You gonna have it in a specific place, and they gonna take their cut. That's
exactly.
so weird. You go to a house, that house got a I be thinking like I just think of an old nasty boarding house and it just smell like hot
Like
trash.
like air cheeks, bad
Yeah.
pH balance, and aqua velva. Yes, I get it.
Yeah.
So we know the wheels of justice move slow. So in the between time, while Ammar is waiting to go to trial for triple murder, he committed on the strip. He was arrested again, while already in jail for a whole different charge. He was accused of rape and robbery for an 18-year-old girl in Las Vegas condo back in June 2010. He was charged with 3 counts of sexual assault and 1 count of robbery. The trial started in February 2024. The prosecutor, Lisa Lukic, stated that Ammar was a repeat felon who made a living by exploiting and abusing women. However, he was never convicted in any case for pimping.
Hmm.
So yeah. So
I mean, just because he wasn't convicted don't mean he ain't do it.
yeah, true that, true that. In the rape trial, Ammar ends up being convicted of all charges and sentenced to a minimum of 10 years for sexual assault and a max of life. And then she tackled on another 6-year minimum for the robbery. During the sentencing for the rape trial, Taryn Bowden, that's Michael Bowden, the cab driver that the cab driver that was killed in Vegas, he said it was equivalent to watching a playoff game leading to the trial for the shooting and the crash. He said, "Not a day go by that I don't think about my brother. I won't be satisfied until it's all said and done." Unquote.
So the murder trial started on September 28th of 2015. And during this trial, all types of evidence is thrown at the jury from the night of the murder. So the prosecution, they showed several different angles of surveillance tape where Ammar is speeding down Las Vegas Boulevard. They showed pictures of the bodies from the crime scene, and they painted Ammar out as this abusive woman beater and manipulator and how he exploited women, and now he has turned to murder. I mean, with his history, like, are you shocked? That's how
I
they
know
presented it
exactly.
to the
Yeah,
jury.
like, what? How could he do this?
That's how they presented it to the jury. Like, I mean, are you guys really shocked? So his defense team was headed by Robert Langford, and he said, "No, no, 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 no. Y'all got it all wrong. This was a clear case of self-defense." So he pointed out how Kenny Sherry and his friend kept coming in and out of the valet area several times and interacting with the man that Yenesis said had the gun. He said that the men were hunting Ammar and Ammar had to shoot first to protect himself. And Robert argued that due to Ammar's drug and alcohol intoxication that night, along with his prior experience of being shot, it just played into his beliefs that he had to shoot first. And it couldn't have been premeditated because he was intoxicated. I mean, that's a really weak ass argument in my defense, in
I
my
mean, look, they
opinion.
got, hey,
But
look, they had to figure, look, they gonna figure something out.
that was a horrible ass.
Horrible. No, I agree with you, but they're gonna try to figure something out. So the prosecution came back and said they need a video or any testimony from witnesses. Was there any indication that Kenny or Freddie acted in a threatening manner? Amari Yenesis, and his other hoes left the club before Kenny and Freddie. And intoxicated or not, he wasn't so intoxicated that he was unable to form the intent necessary to be guilty of first degree murder. They sunk his ass. Also, there was no gun found in the Maserati and no bullet holes in Ammar's Range Rover, so that kind of defeats the whole defense of the
Self
defensive
defense.
self whatever it's called. And then the state called the star witness, Yenesis Alfonso. She described the events of what happened that evening, and then she said, he thought it was the person he got into it with in the club when we were in the club. But I told him it wasn't him. She said, I was on the floor at first, and then I got back in the seat. Genesis then said that she heard two gunshots, but that she didn't hear the collision or the explosion. Genesis has a tattoo, Jaden, on her neck. So that's her man. She explained that she and
Mm.
Ammar were in love.
Hmm.
We don't love them hoes.
Hmm, hmm, hmm. So, when the defense asked why she didn't go to the police, she said, "Quote, because I don't like the police." And then she was asked how does she feel about the events that took place. This girl literally sat up there and said, "I don't really care about the events that took place." Like she's spinning in
Damn.
her chair, like she was so unbothered, like it was an inconvenience for her to be in this courtroom. So she was like extremely nonchalant, and literally almost every question that she was asked, she was like, "I don't remember. I don't know." They were like, "Didn't you tell the police?" She was like, "I don't know at the time. I might have." She did remember that Ammar told her he was planning to possibly flee to Mexico or Cuba after the murder. And she also remembered that he broke her nose twice and he fractured two of her ribs. And these attacks, she said, were unprovoked. She said,
Damn.
quote, "He pushed me because I think I was texting and I wasn't looking up at him. I was looking at my phone. When he pushed me, I hit a glass in the nightstand and it cut my nose and broke it." Like, ooh,
That, oh Lord.
it's
I
just so
know
much
this
wrong with
shit.
this
I
situation.
know, like I do. I've been getting so people been on me because they say that I have no couth and I be saying whatever. So I'm like, I'm gonna be quiet on this one.
No, because so this man, first of all, he got you selling pussy. You ain't getting a dime from it.
You ain't getting
You
nothing, and
paying
you
for
get
this
your
man's
ass beat.
custom Range Rover over here. He done got you caught up in some shit. You got this man's name tattooed on your neck. But you flipped on him at the drop of a hat.
That quick, right?
Bro, I'm just so baffled by this whole situation. So anyway, but at no point you still after all this you still went on. That's Stockholm syndrome. Like I think with when it comes to like pimping, like it has got to be Stockholm syndrome. Like it absolutely has to be. It just has to be because I can't think
Yeah.
of anything else that it could be.
Again, I'm with you. I would love to know, like, what will make a woman think, like, yeah, that's. I don't get it. Like, you see, I'm baffled. I'm over fumbling my words. I really would like to know what the fuck do these dudes be telling these girls to make them think it's okay. And now remember, we're not talking about sex trafficking. I want to clarify that. We're there
No,
forcing.
we are talking about
We're talking about women
willing.
who are willingly
Yes.
allowing themselves to be pimped per se.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Go ahead.
So another of Amara's ex-girlfriends, aka another one of his hoes, ex-hoes, 'cause he ain't got no more because he locked up now. I wonder if all them came to visit him and put money on his books. What you
For a
think?
while they did. Yeah, they probably did. I mean, yeah, yeah, they did.
Hmm. Well, anyway, her name was Courtney Harper, and she testified to Amar's character, and she said, quote, "He picked up an iron and held it towards my face and told me to tell him that I loved him. And then he made her play a game of Russian roulette while he held a gun to her head."
Damn.
So Amar's defense had really tried to set the scene that he was just a loving boyfriend, but them two testimonies, they tore that right up.
Yeah, he love to beat your ass. That's what it is. So all in all, the trial lasts a week. The jury came back in 20 minutes. Now, what do we say, Tiffany, when they come back at anything less than 3 hours?
Oh, this one, they just literally went in there and said, "All right, he did it, let's go."
Yeah, they didn't
That
even
was
want lunch.
Yeah, they didn't even want lunch this day. They literally
They
just
didn't
went in there
even
like,
want
"He did
lunch.
it,
They
let's
said,
go.
you know
I'm
what,
ready to go
yeah,
home."
this some bullshit. Yeah, we wasted my time on this guilty. Let's go. So, of course, they gave him a guilty verdict. The death penalty was on the table. Amar was found guilty for 3 counts of first degree murder, 1 count of attempted murder, and 7 counts of discharge from a weapon. During the penalty phase, a psychologist spoke on Amar's behalf and brought up his childhood trauma as a defense, as well as him being under the influence of drugs and alcohol at the time of the crime. But it was his choice being under the influence. They killed me with that. Nigga, you chose to do that. So he may have been hyper vigilant and prone to fight or flight response after being a victim of a shooting in Miami. I mean, look, let's be honest with you. You gotta be. Let's be honest. The lawyer got to do what he can. You know what I'm saying? It's his job to defend him. So he gonna say, even though for us you looking like it makes sense, he like I gotta defend him. So the prosecution said nobody can show he is a productive member of society. They also brought up that Ammar was sitting while while Ammar was sitting waiting for trial. He had been caught smuggling cell phones, chicken wing, vodka, and meth inside of the prison. Who the fuck? And how are you sneaking chicken wings in the
That
prison?
was out of all the stuff. That was what got me. I was like, chicken wings,
Yes, I
bro.
get the cell phone.
I
I
get.
even say the vodka and the meth, but chicken wings though, nigga. Who is? How are you sneaking chicken wings in a jail cell? I'm about to
What
ask
I
the
so what I
DJ.
think is what I personally think that was. I think that he was probably messing around with one of the guards, and she was bringing them dinner, and they consider that smuggling. That's
Yeah,
what
I know.
I
That
see.
maybe you're right. I mean, that's it. Just makes it sound like this nigga was really over there selling wing dinners.
Yeah, I know, I know.
Yeah, this nigga selling wing dinners to the prisoners.
But
Oh
that I mean
man.
that's just a hot mess.
Oh,
Like,
and he also attempted to bribe a public officer.
mm,
Just want to throw that out there.
mm. So the jury went back out, and this time they deliberated for 2 hours because he was up for the death penalty. So they were all on board for the death penalty. See, that's what happened when you kill a white woman on camera in America.
Hmm.
So he was sentenced to death row, plus he got 5 years for smuggling in chicken wings. They was petty on that one. Like, I'm
What
already
type
on
of
death
yeah?
row.
They
Why the
these
fuck you gonna
niggas.
throw an extra 5 years on there? Like, that was just ignorant. Like, I feel like they do that
That
just to
was yes.
be
How you gonna get a
um
man death row and then give him 5 years for smuggling some chicken wings?
yeah. So Kenny Cherry's father said, quote, an eye for an eye. I hate to see another black man go down, but I'm gonna follow this to the end. And I feel him on that. I really do.
Yeah.
So
No.
Kenny's mom said, quote, I believe that God is good and justice is served. Now, Taryn Bolden, Michael Bolden, the cab driver, his brother got up there and spoke. He said, quote, they saw the same thing we all knew. Let God forgive him. I'm not. He wasn't trying to look anyone in the face, and he's done. His career is over. His pimp days are over. His club party days, his YOLOs, his raves are over. His money flashing, his YouTube social stuff is all a wrap. Let that be a lesson. Anyone else out there who is about that life, then you'll see what you're gonna get. If you play with fire, you're gonna get burned. Ooh,
Damn. And dropped
right.
the mic too. Told his ass.
Did. James Sutton, who was Sandra Sutton's husband, he was just unable to comment. He was too emotional.
Okay, but that's not even the end, you guys. No, no, no. There's more. The rape charge. Remember the rape charge that he was convicted of, Ammar. He filed an appeal in December 2016 and he was granted a new trial. A three-judge panel decided that Kathleen Delaney, and that was the original judge in the case, made a mistake when she did not allow Ammar to represent himself as he requested. The High Court said that it did not matter that Ammar did not have the legal skills to represent himself. It is still his right. Eventually, the Nevada Supreme Court overturned his sentencing for the rape and robbery charge.
So he basically got away with rape and robbery because that was
Yeah,
a life sentence right there.
I know that, but that's yeah. That judge dropped the ball on that one. I mean, even I know that. You still gotta let the nigga, just like the one dude. Remember?
Demar.
Yeah,
His
represents.
slow ass.
Yeah,
Yep.
yep.
hmm
Exactly. There you go. Slow ass.
He was
December.
slow.
Yes, he was. Yeah, then they be the ones to be representing themselves. Hey, look, you heard about the one dude who was fake being a lawyer, and he represented himself and won.
No.
Oh yeah, we're talking about that.
I mean,
Yeah.
with Tupac's mom, she went up against the feds
Oh yeah,
and
she
she
won.
won. Yep, and she defended herself and she won. And that's saying a lot because the feds conviction rate is 97%. And that was in the 70s.
Yeah,
Like, wow.
that when you would be guilty because you're black.
Yeah, basically. Well, you still guilty because you black these days, so I mean, ain't
Yeah,
much
true,
change.
true. So December 2018, Ammar filed an appeal for the triple murder case. He argued that the DA abused his discretion when it omitted photos of the victims at the trial. The defense wanted to exclude photos. The state argued that the photos showed the manner in which the victims were found, the extent of their injuries, and cause of death. The photos shown as valid. Some of the images included charred limbs and burnt flesh, dissected tracheas and chest cavities, ripped open and discretion of human bodies who clearly died a horrific death. All in all, the court decided to uphold his sentence. They're like, man, cut that shit out. They had to show those photos.
They did. They did. And it's just crazy because it's like, you set out to, I don't even know why you set out to kill that man. 'Cause, again, he might have been a pimp, but he was still an innocent man. But try to take one life, you ended up taking three. And
Hell
they
yeah,
wouldn't let you
yes,
get away with that because those other two people, that cab driver and that, like, they literally had nothing to do with it at all.
yes. Nothing at all, and completely lost their life. Yeah.
hmm So now Yenesis, she ended up having all charges against her dropped for the cooperation. I mean, I personally don't see how she cooperated with any information at trial. Like, if it's on YouTube, like, if you want to go look it up, how she was just so nonchalant and she ain't said nothing. So I don't get, because I guess like it was kind of hazy with how they did her, but apparently they ended up charging her for something, but it really wasn't like they didn't go into a lot of detail, but they did say they dropped all of her charges for the cooperation. So she basically got off scot free.
Mm.
And Ammar, he is now housed at the High Desert State Prison and he is awaiting his death date. In October of 2020, it looks like he was stabbed and he ended up on life support. He was in critical condition, but looks like he's still alive and kicking until the state
I
decides
yeah,
otherwise.
I thought when you was on death row, they like housed you in the area where
Yeah,
like
I don't like
like
they.
yeah, like isolation. What's it
It
called?
was, so when I came across the news article, it just said that he was on life support because he had been stabbed, but the prison wasn't giving up any information. So maybe he was being transported. Like they said, like the prison wouldn't respond to anything. I don't. I yeah. So I have no idea like exactly what happened. Like they said, the prison wouldn't respond to their questions.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not sure what exactly happened. But anywho, that is the story of Yenesis Alfonso and Ammar Harris. So that one
Yeah,
was a lot. Oh, so
I'm a gold
before
in
we
the hole. Yeah.
go, I just want to insert. Remember we talked about Kenny Clutch and how he got his name for about the Maserati.
Yeah. And they probably didn't know what he did for a living.
Yeah. So okay. So in one article I read, um, his dad claimed that he was quote unquote helping him pay off the Maserati. Okay. So that was one thing that I saw. But then I came across something else about the so-called Maserati because it was just like a lot of digging. But so anyway, that was not his Maserati. What happened was basically the Maserati was considered an errant vehicle purchase, and it was with this company called a dealership called St. George Car Dealership Executive Auto, which was actually shut down by the state motor vehicle division because they had investigations and allegations that it was orchestrating a wide range of equity scamming scheme in which they would have people with good credit. They would recruit them and have them buy these high end cars, but they would be renting the cars out before they were actually paid for.
Mm.
So I didn't know that was illegal, but apparently it is. I don't know. But so basically he was renting that Maserati. That wasn't even his Maserati. So I'm like, how did you
Oh,
name yourself after a
okay.
car that you didn't even own in real life? But I guess that's all
Niggas
playing.
always naming themselves or their kids after shit they can't afford. Know what I'm saying? That's why,
Lexus,
yeah.
Mercedes.
Yes, exactly.
I know Let me be quiet.
Exactly. A Mercedes, bitch. You ain't even got a Mercedes.
No, I'm gonna say every time like a girl be named like after like every time like I met somebody.
Females that's named after priceless. Let me. God damn it! I can't say that because my daughter named Diamond. I would say they always some hoes.
I was about to say, yeah, every diamond I know is a
Oh,
stripper. A stripper.
oh, damn. My
I
daughter,
mean, well,
she
your
don't have
your
no
daughter not a
clue.
stripper though. She doing
No, she
something
ain't no
real life.
stripper though. Know what I'm saying? I mean,
And she
yeah.
don't have a classic spelling, like I mean like Diamond. Like those is always strippers.
I know.
Like bands that make a dance strippers.
All right, so here we go. We about to do our next segment called
Love, Lies, and Alibis.
Okay, so today we
What
have
do we
another
got?
letter. And this one, so let me just go ahead and read it and we'll talk about it.
All right, here
So
we
it
go.
says, quote, attention, advice needed. I've been dating this guy for only 5 months. He is 60 years old and I'm in my late 30s. The problem is he revealed to me in our early stages of dating that he moved to Atlanta 2 years ago from New York. So basically he's trying to get his life in order financially. You 60. You should already have your shit in order. Okay, but let me keep going. He is on child support and working towards saving towards a food truck. He has a wonderful career but comes with so much baggage. 5 years ago, he had a baby out of wedlock with a young lady that he didn't want to be in a relationship with. He said it was a big mistake and the mother didn't want the baby, so they felt they both were being irresponsible adults. He said he gave the baby up for adoption to wonderful people who have good career. He travels to see the baby girl and brings her gifts. He mentioned to me that he didn't want to raise the baby on his own. He said that financially he was able to care for it, but he just couldn't do it. He pays child support from a previous marriage, but I just feel like it's been nothing but red flags. He was honest with me, but I feel I have nothing but pressure from our situation. Girl, leave that man exactly where the hell he at because he had me fucked up at he's at 60 and he's still paying child support.
Damn, this is an old ass child support paying dude. He's 60 and paying. What out of like
He's
at
just
a
okay. So
certain
first of
age,
all,
dude?
he's paying child support. So that means he got young kids or kids under the age of 18. At 16, you should be having grandkids on. You have a 5-year-old that you gave up for adoption, and you're paying. It's just leave that man where the hell he at and let it go. It's too many red flags. I first of all dating. I'm in my late 30s. Dating a man at 60 is not in my plans. That's
No,
too
wait,
old.
wait. What is your age? What is your age limit? What's yours?
At this point, I'm like 50. That's it.
I mean, if I
Because
got 50, damn, 50 ain't that bad. I mean, I'm close
no,
to it, but
50's not. Remember, you banned me from dating anybody over the age of 50 anyway.
no, hell no. You're not about no. You ain't about no Willie. You ain't about to be dating no Willie Earls. Know what I'm saying? So no, Mr. Levesters. Know what I'm saying? Well, you got to call your kid. Got to call him Mister. No.
My kids call you Mr. Willie. I mean, because
I mean, that's different though. But I'm talking about yeah.
no,
You got
it's
to be
not
calling
because
him
I've always
Mister.
taught I don't know. I grew up where you didn't call adults by their first name, so
But I'm
my
talking
kid
about the
is.
nigga you dating and you calling him Mister.
Well, they had. I'm not trying to be funny. They called. They always are gonna call somebody Mister or Miss.
Who?
Like they call
Yeah,
you Mister Willie. Like
I'm
my
not
kid.
talking about your kids. I'm talking about you, Tiffany, calling the old ass nigga Mister because he old. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh,
Yes, I said don't date a dude that old where you got to call him Mister. Yes, at 50,
it's made me feel
that's the
like I'm on the
limit.
color purple. Yes,
Yeah,
Mister.
but the nigga 60 and paying child support. Yeah, the dude
That in itself is a
he
red
very
flag.
irresponsible. It's obvious the nigga's very irresponsible. And 60 years of living, he ain't learned shit. Like
And you talking
like
about
you ain't
and
learned
he's
shit,
still
dude.
not financially stable. And I'm not saying I get everybody goes through things, but at 60, it should be on like almost like kind of like cruise control. You
Yes,
understand?
because
Like
it's only
as
certain
far
jobs that 60-year-old people can get. I ain't trying to see
you
no
should be, but I mean
60-year-old
at
nigga.
60, you should be close to retirement or like preparing for retirement, not paying child support on a 5-year-old.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's reckless, my nigga. I mean, you had that baby when you were 55 years old. What was you thinking, my dude?
I don't know. I asked my daddy because he had a baby at 57.
Damn. Yeah, your father was old as fuck, man. Yeah.
Hmm.
And when people
I'll
have
never forget
kids,
when
I'm
he
sorry,
told me
when
about
people,
that.
old
I
people
remember
have
he was like,
kids.
look, let me tell you how I found out I had a little brother. My daddy is so ignorant. He called me one day. Mind you, I'm a senior in high school. He was like, "Hey, you got a brother?" I was like, yeah, I know. He at the house." Like, what do you mean? He was
He like,
like,
no, you got a baby brother.
I was like, "What are you talking about?" He got that with that white woman.
I know,
And she
man.
trapped my daddy. She showed it that. Now that bitch was crazy. That bitch was crazy.
Well, we ain't gonna talk about that. So look, so to the person who wrote the letter, he too old to be making these type of fucked up decisions. So I would just off the strength that he was 55 and had a and decided to have a baby, speak volumes of who this man is. So if I were you, I would run.
Run, Forrest, run.
Yeah.
Yes. So
So
look,
that's it. So what's up? What's new? Anything we gotta let our people know?
oh yes, we do. You need to make your announcement.
What? Nigga, you hold on, nigga. You just making it sound like I'm about to come out and sound gay or something. What announcement? I forgot.
Sweet Jesus. You said you wanted to give a disclaimer.
No, oh man, no. We having a live about
But
this.
okay, but still, everybody might not catch the live, so you still need to make a comment about
Oh,
it.
I don't even know what to say now. I'm
We
just.
just had 11 conversations. Okay, well,
I know.
anyway,
I know that I really don't know. No, no, no. I get it. Look, at the end of the day, I realize that we are not for everybody. We are not. I have been getting a lot of comments that be just saying like, "Oh, what were they saying? What the comments say?"
the one said that you were so offensive they had to turn off the podcast within the first 5 minutes of listen. I was
5 minutes.
like, first of all, I was like, in the first 5 minutes, we only done talked about like the
Look,
crime scene and the 911 call. So I
yeah,
was
I
confused.
literally listened to each one and to see what happened in the first 5 minutes, and nothing was offensive. So that's, but at the end of the day, like I ain't trying to look. I am who I am. I tell jokes. I tell jokes, and I say truthful stuff that people don't want to hear. You know what I'm saying? Like I do. Like even the situation where we are talking about, and I called Tyson the he she. In reality, we don't know what he or she wanted to be labeled as. We don't know. So I mean, just because
Well,
I say they,
he wanted to be, well, it was she would have been the proper pronoun, but
what? Whose side are you on? I don't even want to talk about it no
you
more.
said you didn't know. I was just clarifying.
I didn't know. Okay, you may knew. I did not know. So that's all I'm saying. But at the end of the day, man, look, we're gonna start putting a disclaimer at the front of the at the beginning. Just let people know like this contains offensive language, content that may not be suitable for people who have sensitive that
Well, we say it has
sensitive.
explicit content, but my okay. So this is my thing. This is my thing. When we started our podcast, we said we were doing it our way. It's I'm not trying to be funny, but it's the same as going to a comedy show. You go to a comedy show, you're gonna laugh. Where he's not, he's a comedian. He's not going to single
Yes,
out
I am not a
one type of
Seinfeld.
people.
I am
He
more
is
of
an
a
equal opportunity
yes. I am more
talk
of a
shit
Corey
talker.
Holcomb. Yes, so you got to think about that. So, all right. With that being said, look, that's all we're saying. Hey, Christmas coming up, you guys, which means that our girl Khadija, you got to always advocate for Khadija, got kids. It would be nice if people would donate, if you can, to the GoFundMe just so the kids can have a nice Christmas. Unfortunately, their mother is not able to see their kids because the victim's mother has the kids, and you know how that goes. She probably don't want them to see them because her son lost his life, which you know I understand. So we say all that to say we are we are we are going to attach the link to the GoFundMe, and if you can, whatever
The
you
link
can,
I actually put the link in our link tree. So
okay.
on Instagram, if you go to our bio, there's a link tree and her GoFundMe link is in the link tree. I finally remember to do it.
Yes, whatever you could donate, that'd be greatly appreciated.
I'll say $1, whatever I say, because we are also going to be donating as well. So yep, that's all we got. So thank you for staying with us this long. And if you're not overly sensitive or easily offended, we appreciate you. Like I said, at the end of the day, it's all in good fun. That's it. That's all. Life is too serious to be serious. And that's one thing I love about us. Like we laugh at everything and that we just trying to bring some humor to something that's dark. So
Exactly,
just
that's all it is, baby. That's
yeah,
it.
it's nothing. I say nothing personal or nothing to be offensive towards any one type of person or anything of that nature. So just going forward, if you are enjoying the podcast, we would appreciate if you could leave us a 5-star review on any platform where you are listening to the podcast. We do ask that you follow us on social media. We're on TikTok and Facebook as Melanin Mysteries Podcast, and Instagram is Melanin Mysteries Pod. And make sure you share with friends and family. And always remember that love shouldn't come with a life sentence. So make sure you choose freedom and not felonies.
Yes, sirree. And with that being said, we out. Take it easy.